With me tonight is Joe Brunez. Joe is a vice president and credit officer at CMB. So I want to take you back on a little walk back through history. There's at least one member of the council who was here 22 years ago. Is there just one?
Yeah.
So 22 years ago, the town of Bath, which was interested in acquiring this property to be its municipal center. In the years immediately preceding that, I think the town council had been using the train station. Depending on how much time you got, I got another story I can tell. But, as you all know, the West Virginia Constitution prohibits municipalities and counties from borrowing money. You can't sign a note that is a 20-year note or pledge the revenues of a future council to make payments on a debt that you incur, at least not without a vote of the people.
Go to the public.
Yeah.
Election.
So the device that was used 20 years ago to make this work was the bank, which was at the time Citizens National Bank. That bank no longer exists, at least under that name. It's now CMB Bank. But the bank acquired this property. And it was a parcel that belonged to the Matts, Mr. Liz Matts, and then close to him.
Mhm.
And you're nodding because you remember.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure, the mad side
Yeah.
next door.
So we entered into a big, long 20-year lease purchase agreement. And the monthly rent payment was calculated to equal whatever at the time the bank and the town agreed upon as fair rate of interest. You know, that's how the rent was calculated. And the agreement said that at the end of the 20 years, if the town has made all its payments, then the town gets title to the property for $1.
Did you get the dollar?
We'll say we got the dollar. I don't know what
I
to say.
got-
I'll reach in my pocket.
I got-
Yeah, I guess I
Somebody-
shouldn't speak for Joe on that.
We'll be okay.
I'll
I'll donate $1 for it.
I can say I've got one on here, you know.
So we're a little bit past actually when you pay it off. Joe's the one that called me and said, and I said, oh, I remember that deal. And we looked it up, put out all the paperwork, and yeah. So anyway, what I have here for you to present tonight is a deed.
I think I'm going to cry.
CMB Bank, Inc., formerly known as Citizens National Bank of Berkeley Springs, as the grantor, and the town of Bath, a municipal corporation chartered under the laws of West Virginia. And it recites that the town has fulfilled all of its obligations under the lease purchase agreement and conveys this property's been titled for 22 years in the name of CMB, or Citizens National Bank. Conveys the property to the town of Bath. You all are the equitable and now legal title holders of this. And the deed has been signed by Mark Harrell, who's president of the bank, and his signature has been attested by Rebecca Stotler, who is executive vice president, and the signatures are notarized. Joe, you should come up and make this presentation. You're the officer of the bank. And that's the deed.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say, so,
Say congratulations.
just wing it.
Here's the resolution that has the signature of Susan J. Webster, mayor of town of Bath, and Mary Roser. Did I say that?
Roser, that's right,
Roser.
she
She was the recorder,
at the time.
approving the transaction 22 years ago.
Apologize, it's a little later than where it should have been, but
That's all right.
We did our best.
There you go,
Thank you.
Susan. There
Yay.
you go.
Well, that takes me to my next story.
Oh.
If you got this a second. This is the second time I've participated in one of these presentations. The first one was in 1984. I have a picture somewhere. But in 1973, 72 or 73, the town of Bath decided, and its town hall prior to that was in the building that belongs to Mr. and Mrs. Folds now, but was Joe's Radio Shack at one time. The town decided to buy the property on Washington Street that belonged to Catherine Johnson. And in similar fashion, title was conveyed to Citizens National Bank in the early 70s. And in 1984, and I forget who was mayor in 84, it might have been Dick Rockwell,
I
or
think it was Rockwell.
it might have been Richard Rockwell. I have some memory, I don't know where my picture is, but I have some memory of him being there when the picture was taken.
Or Howerton.
But, yeah, I don't think Bill would have been
No, not.
by 84. I think he was done with it by then.
Okay.
But anyway, we delivered a deed, and that was a 10-year payment. And of course, it was within 5 years after that. I think the council decided they wanted to try the train station and sold that building at public auction, which is now the Morgan County Library.
I think it sold for like $40,000 or something.
Well, it sold for more than
Yeah,
that.
it sold more than that.
Yeah. I was prosecutor at the time, so we were involved in, I was
Okay.
involved with county commission in bidding strategy.
Yes, yes, I remember.
But it's,
Oh, I remember the strategy. Yeah, we won't tell them. No.
anyway, congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah,
On
thank you.
behalf of all my constituents, who are your constituents, thank you for the hard work you're doing. And everything you do to make this town the special place that it is, has always been and remains. I know it's not easy and you get some barking, I think, on occasionally here and there, but it still is the best place in the whole world to live. It absolutely is, and I credit you all with a big part of making it. So, thank you, and thank you for making a little time for us.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
And your name is spelled, sir, HRONSSC.
ESC.
I looked at your tag because that's a name now.
It's
That's,
very uncommon.
yes, it is. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, and I want to say one other thing. I don't know whether they'll charge you or not. I hope they do not. But you should take that deed. It has not been recorded. It should be admitted to public record in Kim Nichols' office, in the office of the clerk of the county commission.
They don't charge us for town work.
So so that a copy of it
Yes.
becomes part of the county's permanent land records.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
because if you look at the records now, it shows that the bank is still the owner of it.
Yeah.
That instrument will change.
All right, thank
All right.
you.
Great seeing you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
So,
All
right. that's
I know you're busy.
really good news. I'm tickled with that, so. All right, let's see, moving on. Communications from the mayor. I think that what the plant fair is this weekend, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
Friday and Saturday.
Yep, it's this weekend, so plant fair downtown. Hopefully still reaching out, trying to find out who, owns, Terry's restaurant, whether it be, people that are there now or whatever. Anybody knows and can get in contact, give, myself or town hall a call. I would appreciate it. So we're trying to work on figuring out how we can finesse that whole thing down there in the middle of town, to hopefully either keep a restaurant or something here. So, that's been on my heart here in the last couple of weeks since Terry's closed up and lost a mainline business downtown. So, so hopefully we can figure out something to either help them or whatever. So that's about all I have. So we're gonna move on. Bath Development Authority, they're having a meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow at 4:30 courthouse via Zoom or in person. Parks and Rec, their next meeting is 5/18 at 7 p.m. at the courthouse. We did have last month a resignation, so we need to start looking for somebody that maybe would be willing to serve on that board. So if anybody knows anybody that would be willing to serve on Park and Rec to represent the town of Bath, please have them bring their name forward to us that we could talk with them.
Is Trish Brother listening in? Is she on?
Nobody's on currently.
Okay.
So anyway, planning commission, I have not made the last meeting or so, so.
Yeah,
I'll
we're gonna meet
let
Thursday,
the president.
first Thursday of the month at 1700. I was gonna echo, if you look at the comprehensive plan that the town has, a lot of it is beautification of neighborhoods and those kind of things. So I was gonna say, take advantage of the plant sale this weekend that's going in there, and across the street over at St. Vincent de Paul, we'll also be having a plant sale that'll help the same thing. So I encourage everybody to take care of their little chunk of happiness in here in the town of Bath.
See you Thursday at 5, right?
I will try to make a half hour of that meeting.
Okay.
Teach at 5:30, so. Rails and trails, we got, I think he left something here, and
I can speak to, we have Pete's report, but I can also speak a little bit to the grant application that was put in by the county commission to Capito's office for an earmark. Earmarks are back in again. And so I worked with Commissioner Clark to help get the facts together and the narrative for that and to get that application in. And we also got a cost estimate from the Mills Group for that lovely concept that they had put together for the lot. We got that cost estimate and pared it down into what we thought would be a doable number for Capito's office. Because Capito's office is looking at requests of up to $1 million, so we decided to go through it. And that got in on time, and so it is in the mix, but we won't know anything until late summer, August, late summer. So that's what I know about that part of the road.
for streetscapes, moving along with that. He has a small report there that the council can read. All right, let's move on to the train depot.
Yeah,
Go for it.
okay. Get through this. All right, what I have somewhere, and I sent to you guys, so I don't need to really hold it up, is the notice to proceed from the West Virginia DOH with the project. That's a big deal, and what that triggers is a contract that the architect, the Mills Group, will put together with the contractor on the exact work. It triggers a pre-construction meeting and the actual beginning of the work of the rehabilitation of the interior of the depot. When we what we have left in the original grant is about $218,000 to be spent just on that interior project. As you know, the grant, we got it pared down to $224,250. So we're about $7,000 difference. What I'm going to go for that little bit of difference is House Bill 4566. I've talked with the governor's office about it. The Infrastructure and Jobs Development Council is the organization along with Water Development, West Virginia Water Development. I talked to Marie Prezioso, who I've known for many years, who will be administering this. it's so new, the bill just passed, so they don't have the, all the functions and the bureaucracy of what this bill will be, so there isn't even an application yet or some method that we can click off with things we need to do. But she's putting that together. I talked again to Eric Householder, because it is administered by West Virginia Water Development, which sounds odd for our depot project. I said, Eric, reassure me that this is good for a depot project. And in the bill, it does also speak to being able to fund matching grant funds that are needed to make up the project for economic development and tourism projects. So we are good with it, and as soon as I get some instructions out as to how to move forward, I will do that. So we can be made whole with this money. So, yes, so expect the contract to come down the line pretty soon, just need to sign, and pre-construction meeting, and then some work.
Good.
Very happy about this.
All right, thanks. Okay, Landmark Commission, which we haven't brought resurrected, so we're just gonna kind of leave that there. Clerk and Recorder's Report, Madam Clerk.
The only thing I have is there's a budget request. It's actually a correction from the one that was approved in March. The state wanted us to break it out into different revisions per fund, so I just need you to go ahead and approve that, please. There are no financial changes to it from the one in March.
Okay, and this would be resolution 2022-05-01. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
All right, second. I have a motion, a second on the floor for resolution 2022-05-01. This is just basically a housekeeping issue that we need to take care of. So is there any discussion? Anybody do not understand what we're doing? Okay, then I will ask the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. I'm gonna pass this around. You need to circle yes or no. Start it this way, then we'll go from there. All right, Madam Recorder, do you have anything for under Recorder's report?
No.
Okay. All right, then let's pay some bills while that's circulating around now.
All right, I would like to make a motion to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $10,196.08.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $10,196.08. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I would like to make a motion to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bill in the amount of $9,251.50.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bills in the amount of $9,251.50. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the Greenway Cemetery bill in the amount of $5,935.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the Greenway Cemetery bills in the amount of $5,935. Any discussion? All those, okay.
I guess the question is the cemetery corporation going to be paid for the headstone? Or there was some discussion that the town would pay for that because we weren't gonna file for it under insurance. I'm hoping that I can get a reduced figure for this, but we will, we do need to go ahead and approve this amount in case Walls sticks to this number. They had told me verbally that it would be a lesser amount. So I'm going to go back to them and ask them about it, but the question still stands as to whether or not this should come out of Greenway Cemetery Corporation funds or whether the town is willing to pay it so that that frees up the cemetery's money to keep mowing.
Remind us, Beth, what was this for?
This was the accident that occurred with a former employee that, in the process of doing a burial, hit over, damaged a headstone that had to be replaced and couldn't be repaired.
All right, council. What do you think?
So we're thinking about moving this.
So I guess the question is whether the town council wants to address this tonight or if we should send it back to finance committee while I contact Walls Vault Service on
Do
the
we have an
price.
actual bill yet?
Yes.
Yes, we do
We,
have
it's
it.
for
in
twenty,
You have
it's
it
for
in the
twenty to one
document.
brought to finance, it's at 2250
Okay.
right now, and she may be able to get it reduced to 1650, but right now it's on the, it is on the town, well, it's in the town folder right now, it shouldn't be on.
No, it's in the cemetery.
I guess the question for finance would be, where would this come from? And how would it be a donation to the cemetery or?
Well, the way I'm looking at it, really doesn't make a whole lot of difference, because if the cemetery pays for it, then they're not gonna have enough money for mowing, so the town's gonna pick that
Chip
up.
in one way or another.
So
Right.
it really, it's probably Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Is everybody on the council okay with that? Just to, we'll, I guess, help out, cemeteries so that they still have money to mow with, and I guess we'll work that up deal. Okay, we'll figure it out, I guess.
All right.
Okay, all right. Any more discussion?
So what are we deciding?
Well,
Well, we'll just have a motion in a second to pay $5,935 out of Greenwood Cemetery.
With the
You're
understanding,
saying-
if there are other costs later, for the lawn mowing, that the council will
kick in.
kick in at that,
All right, okay,
for what it's already helping with on that.
okay.
Okay, but you said hopefully you're getting the cost down.
Possibly reduced.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
I certainly will ask them about the original price they gave me.
Yes, okay.
Okay, we good with that there, what we discussed? Okay. All right, then I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Good, we didn't have to go through that.
Yeah.
Taking the motion back and all that. That
That
makes a
That was
long minute.
complicated.
It does, it goes on for a page and a half. You know?
All right, I'd like to make the motion to pay the rail and trail bill in the amount of $4,343.75.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Rick, did you second that?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion second on the floor to pay the rail trail expenditures for the amount of $4,343.75. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
The last one here, I'd like to make a motion to pay the tree board bill in the amount of $300.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the tree board bills in the amount of $300. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. All right. Now I guess we're up to tree board now.
I don't think I need any to report anything
Okay.
specifically. We are having a meeting. It's on the-
Yeah, the 18th of this month, we have a meeting. Okay, grants.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
When will be the 31st? Is that when the cemetery?
We were talking about.
Oh, tree board.
Yeah.
Tree board,
Sorry.
yeah. Okay, we good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very well.
I'm just trying
Trying to remember where we're at. All right. Grant? Anything?
I don't think we have anything further. We're
Well, the
looking
only
into
thing,
something.
there is, the tree board does, or excuse me, the grant committee does need to look at Pete Brown's request in his memorandum that he sent us report, where specifically asked the tree board to, now I'm talking like Chris, or the grant committee to, help them with an application that needs to be done. There was some discussion of seeing if, Region 9 could possibly help us with that. If this is something that council would like me to follow up on, I will.
The cemetery would like the grant committee to help with no. Now I'm mixed up.
Streetscape.
Streetscapes.
What?
It's
Come right down the line.
Grant
Committee.
committee. Version.
Says,
Who's on third?
Streetscape.
it's on this page, about 2/3 of the way down,
Write that application.
right
To help
above
write the application for
NVRC.
streetscapes.
Since we need a grant application, person, et cetera. So it's on this page, and that's what I'm referring to.
Writing a
So
grant
I
for
will
street
follow
grant.
up with that.
Contact Region 9.
Okay.
Okay,
Writing,
gotcha.
helping to
Assist
write a
with
grant
streetscape.
for streetscapes.
Tired tonight.
Contact
Okay.
Region 9 to
Yeah.
assist with streetscape with the grant application.
Region 9, okay.
So if you would like me to talk to Pete and then talk to Region 9, I will be glad to do that.
Good, that'd be easier than writing
Yeah, we
it
can
down.
do that. Well, if the council's okay with that, we can have her do that.
All right,
All right,
I will follow up on that.
perfect, perfect. Anything else?
It'll be long on that, it's please read it.
All right, public safety.
Tell the thought process.
I don't have anything.
It's not,
No, it's on the monthly report from April's in there.
No, but we got it all.
Get it online.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so I remember most of it. There are 27 citations, 19 warnings, 4 misdemeanor reports, 7 no reports needed, non-assist, 3 misdemeanor arrests, 217 parking tickets for the month of April. Other than that, that's about it.
all right. Thank you, chief. Okay, cemetery.
I don't really have anything to report. Grass cutting in Greenway is going very well. And continue to locate graves. So we're in the process of updating records, which is all process. But we've had several burials over the last couple of years that haven't been recorded, so that's something I'm looking to correct. And that's
Do you plan a meeting? Do you know yet?
what day of the week is that? 31st.
Tuesday.
Will that work?
I think so.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
we'll stick with that.
Yeah, if that's okay
Yeah,
with the two
I
of you.
think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right, public works.
I'm sure you've all read some of the emails about the corner of Mercer and Warren Street. I took a ride with Rodney as part of Public Works, and what they're gonna do, they're gonna put on both sides of that corner, no parking here to corner. Signs on both sides, they're gonna stop by Trump and Truck. There's a bush there that hasn't been touched in probably 30 years. They're gonna see if they want us to just trim it up and take it as low as we can, or just get rid of it. So that when people come either way at that intersection, they can see both ways. So that's how they're gonna handle that. We also looked at South Green Street. That's gonna jump for next year's. Because the south part of Green Street, down by where it gets to 9, there's potholes, and we're gonna patch it for this year. There's one there, and then there's one on the other side of Green and the other side of Fairfax. They're gonna patch those for now, but from where Larry Lauer used to live down to 9 and across 9 where it's Green Street extended, that's what we're gonna try and pave next cycle. And the other thing, the white F-250 truck is gonna need a new bed at some point. I told Rodney, go ahead and look, but we're holding off until right before winter if we need to do it. I went out and looked at it. it'll be fine for just routine stuff, but once they try to put the salt spreader on the back, it might just be the thing that just kind of rips it off.
Yeah.
But for now, it'll be all right. So we're gonna wait till we get into the next budget cycle and hold off as long as we can. That's it.
Thanks, Ray. Ordinance, we had a small powwow ordinance and we've got some things coming up in the works, so we're gonna be bringing that forward. I may have to call a special public works meeting between now and the next meeting, if possibly we get some of the stuff printed up, so.
Public Works ordinance.
Or, I'm sorry, the ordinance, I'm sorry. See, I told you it's falling right down the line, you know,
In
so.
the twilight zone or
Yeah.
something.
Something's
Municipal
wrong there.
ordinance.
So anyway, we may have to call an emergency ordinance meeting, so just be aware of that. So anyway, moving forward, Waterworks,
Yeah, the water committee met yesterday. I have two things to report out. The one is with regard to the water line replacement project. Our start date now looks like June 1st. So it's been moved up from the end of June and for the 1st of July. The things have come together with, believe it or not, with supplies and parts and needed and issues that needed to be resolved. So for now, we're looking at June 1st for a start. The other thing that I wanted to bring to the council's attention is there are, under the lead and copper rules that the water department is bound to, we are subject to regulations from the West Virginia Bureau of Public Health and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. And apparently there are new regulations that have been that are out, or I'm not sure how long they've been out, but we're starting to now feel the effects of them. That by 2025, under the EPA rule, we have to document what customers have by way of the plumbing going into their house inside, right? So we every year for the since 2019, we've done, because of changes in the plant, we went from the gas to the powder, in terms of the chlorine that we're using. So that meant we had to increase our sampling, lead and copper sampling of customers to 40. Usually it was 20. Then it was every other year. But now since 2019, we've done it every year, had to do it every year, and 40 customers we've had to go out to. And so this year, they're based on last year's 40 customers. We sent the letters have gone out to those customers that, and I'll read the letter, that due to a change in the lead and copper rule from the Bureau of Public Health Environmental Protection Agency, we are now required to collect accurate information from each customer about their home's plumbing. Please complete the survey below as soon as possible and return it to our office no later than April 30th. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter. So we, out of 40, got 27 responses back. There are some people who are very unhappy about the situation.
Well, one of the questions, they came and talked to me and I did it with them while they were there.
Yeah.
The one question is, they want to know if they can come into your house to look at your piping and your plumbing.
Yeah, if you don't know what it is or can't answer the question,
People aren't.
and there's even it's not, well, the way Ron explained it was that there's even some element of this that at some point that would provide for going in and taking out a chunk on customers' properties to look at the piping that's underground to see if there's lead pipe. It's about the lead.
I have a real problem
What
with
are they
that.
gonna do if it is?
That's
Well,
invasion of
that's what we don't
privacy.
know. That's
Yeah.
what Ron doesn't know.
You're just gonna let them come on your property.
Yeah,
and dig.
that's invasion of privacy. As far as I'm concerned, this whole thing is nonsense.
Well, and
you know.
Ron agrees. I mean, he says it's a really an overreach from a Flint, Michigan stuff.
Well, I think we need to contact our attorney, have him send it. We are not going to do this. Absolutely not. I don't see any reason.
Senator Trump.
I don't see any reason to subject our people We know we have an old community here. We've got old pipes in the houses. When we start asking to come in and check people's plumbing, we're not plumbers. Our guys are not certified plumbers. And I have a real problem with it. I was one of the people that got it. I'm not filling it out. I'm just not doing it. And I'll let everybody know. I'm not, it's invasion of privacy. They don't need to know what kind of plumbing is in our houses. And it's ridiculous. And that's me personally. That's not me talking as a mayor. That's personal. So, I have a real problem with them saying, asking our guys that do just the water for, the plant and everything to come in and check somebody's plumbing.
Well, what I will tell you, I mean, I have no problem. I think we should go to Dick for a legal opinion and legal guidance on it. But I mean, if it stands the way Ron is interpreting it and the way it's been explained to him by the health department and in particular, that it's going to be something that if we don't do it, we'll get cited for. So then you'll be dealing with those things.
That's the
game they play.
Yeah, but you can't ask people to voluntarily let people, say, oh, I've got copper pipes or whatever it might be. I adamantly think that we need to file a petition saying that, these are old pipes in this town. What's going to be next? Are they going to come in and tell everybody, well, you got copper pipes that you're going to have the CPVC put in and take all your copper out, which is going to cost
That's what's
thousands of
not clear
dollars.
at this point.
Yeah.
Ron can't, Ron doesn't, we're not sure. I mean.
Yeah, what's the
That's what I asked the guy.
Well, that's what we,
What's the purpose?
that's what
Yeah.
we kept asking.
Well, see, the point is so they can come in and tell you that you got old copper pipes with lead solder, and so it's got to go.
That's what they asked me. I
Yeah.
said, some of the pipes down there are copper, some are the
Yeah.
PVC plastic. And
Yeah.
then he asked me about the solder. I said, do you think I have any clue?
Yeah. Well, I adamantly think we need to talk to our town attorney. We absolutely need to. I don't think the citizens need to be subjected to this. It's just some added cost that the EPA wants to do to people. Like I said, our guys aren't plumbers. I feel very uncomfortable sending our guys into a house to look at plumbing.
Requesting the water sample is one thing.
Right.
This is a whole
Right.
different.
Well, and it's Ron's understanding that at some point, there will be when the health department comes to do their reviews under the sanitation survey, they'll be accompanied by an EPA, employee to as part of these reviews.
Federales.
It's gonna be fun
Yeah.
to watch. I'm gonna bring a camera. This is gonna be cool.
We don't need to let them in our community as far as I'm concerned.
Can they tell what kind of pipes they had from a water sample? Could they?
They can tell what's in the water.
Yeah, like Rick said,
You
asking
don't know where it
somebody,
came from.
asking somebody to give a sample is one thing, but to come in and say, we want to look at your plumbing to determine, I mean, that's
Tell
totally,
you have to replace.
yeah, and that's what it's coming
Yeah,
down
that'll be,
to.
that'll be happy.
Yeah, and let the EPA come on my doorstep, so, and that's personally for them.
Revenue.
So, yep, come on down.
They're dealing with West Virginia.
So
So that's all I have.
Oh, I can't
I
wait.
understand,
Thanks, Chris.
Fun to watch.
I
That's all
understand,
I've got.
but anyway,
Any more from the water department?
No, nothing.
you done it.
I may ask for some clarification of different things once I sit down to.
So,
Chris.
I mean, I don't know if
Hey, do you
everybody,
have something? Piece of
Well, there's
paper?
there's.
Okay,
statement
all
on
right.
That's what the guy was handing me, and I said, I'll do it right now.
I don't know if
Did it?
the council wants to seek some type of legal advice from our, or if you want to go on record with this, like I said,
Water
my
company has plenty of money.
my feeling
Well,
is,
Rick did it, I did it.
I think we.
I would've
If
done
they-
it.
Well, wait till they
That's
come
what
to
they
my
had
house
asked.
and when it goes, somebody I don't know is gonna go down to my house and look at,
Yeah.
that's, I thought.
I mean, at the very minimum, I think it behooves us to go, to take the issue to Nick and say, this is what we're being told, are these, is there anything that we can do or push back or what, how do we even enforce what's,
Claim
what?
poverty or
Why don't we start with Senator Trump? Is this related to a law on the books?
Well, it's a federal,
it's an EPA, so it came from the
Well,
US
it's-
EPA.
They probably
Oh,
had
it
to
is
do this in
USD?
Flint,
Oh,
Michigan,
oh, see, I
so
thought-
somebody down
I
here
thought
everybody
figured
else
that.
do.
That was local.
No.
Okay.
Make everybody, if
All
we
right.
have to do
Anything
it,
that'd be-
everybody
yeah,
has
we're
to.
not
do it.
Flint,
Yeah.
Michigan.
Well, that's.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, I think
Yeah.
as we pursue this with the lawyer, I would recommend that we have him address specifically the difference between an owner resident and any buildings that are rentals. Because as an owner resident, hey, my house, I'm it's all on me. But there may be some legal responsibility for the owner of the hotel across the street. So I think we just need to ask the lawyer to
Right.
probably, drill down onto that one a bit
Right.
to make sure that, again, as an owner resident, I have the same attitude. You're not coming to my house,
Yeah, absolutely.
but there may be some liability things that, the owners of
I
a
mean,
rental.
I don't feel comfortable.
I mean, the young kid that showed up at my house, I mean, I knew he was with the water department, so I was very nice and social.
Yeah.
Somebody that I don't know shows up and wants to go down in my basement. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I just don't get a warm and fuzzy feeling of what they're trying to push us to do, and it just, it doesn't sound right to me.
Everything else going on.
Yeah, then we're gonna have to deal with this, so anyway,
Just for that, Chris, I'm no longer giving my water sample.
Well, that was one response we got, that they would answer the question, they would answer that, but they weren't, no more samples. No,
Yeah.
they weren't gonna do
Well,
anything.
It's
my footprint.
There was some indication on the part of the town employees that they're concerned that if they're gonna be required to do this for every homeowner.
Well, that's,
Staff within a short.
Don't-
That
That's
is-
typically what.
that
will happen.
ultimately is what the requirement is, and, well, and for us, that's one thing, but you're looking at like Berkeley County, and their system, and I mean, you're
yeah,
thousands, I mean,
I think we ought to.
we have like, 2,200 some or
Yeah.
something, and they have 30.
I really think it's an
2,000 something.
invasion of our constitutional rights to have this invasion into our property.
Millie will search and see.
Well, and the thing about it is,
They're on
we
64
provide
limits.
water to the inlet of that meter. Anything from the outlet of that meter is the homeowner's responsibility.
Bingo.
So how can they come in and say, okay, now we want to know what's in your house?
When it's
Yeah.
totally yours.
Yeah,
Fourth
absolutely.
Amendment.
Mhm.
Search and see.
It's an outreach. So-
I think
We
refer all
solved this.
questions to Larry Lamb.
Oh, we solved this. Yeah.
Your phone will be lighting up tomorrow.
You'll be busy all day
I'll
tomorrow.
do just what I did tonight.
Okay, all right, well, then we're gonna seek a legal advice through our attorney, ask him, how far that,
How
You
long
know.
has this been going on? I mean, did it
Well,
start
this-
this year? They've been.
well, we've
My
been
understanding
testing
is this
for a
is,
while.
yeah, we've been testing
But this
40
part,
people
this
for-
part with the
This
business
is
and
new.
requesting all that information, that's
This
brand
just
new,
started.
like within a month.
Just-
Oh,
Yeah,
in
and
the
they
last
did, and
month.
they based and so based on the guidance Ron received, they went out to the people they sampled last year
Uh-huh.
and with the letters.
Uh-huh.
So that, to get an initial
Hmm.
feedback based on, the
Alright.
samples and what information
Okay.
they already have.
Well, we beat this long enough, let's just go
Yeah.
talk to our attorney.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
And that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Just to add to the water, if you don't mind, Chris, there is a program out there for anyone that is in a low income household through the DHHR. They had an article in the paper about it. We have it on our board here to help people with their water and their sewer bills. We have had some people taking advantage of it, and it is working very smoothly. So if there is anybody that finds themselves in that position, please go talk to DHHR and see if they can help.